The stage is essential because it clears away the superficial layers, preparing us for deeper transformation. Without this burning away of the non-essential, the deeper work would be compromised by ingrained resistance and denial. The necessary destruction of the false self, to make room for the authentic self to emerge. Think of it as the alchemist understanding the vincalities must first be volatilized or rendered inert before the true essence can be extracted. This is often where individuals feel the most resistance, as it demands confronting aspects of themselves that are uncomfortable or even terrifying. However, it is precisely by bringing these elements into the light of conscious awareness that their power over us begins to diminish. Fear of confrontation often stems from the unknown. By actively engaging with these disowned parts of ourselves, we begin to demystify them, reducing their perceived threats. This initial fiery purification, though intense, is the vital precursor to all subsequent stages of transformation, dissolution. Following calcination, the next step is dissolution, where the purified substance is dissolved in a liquid, often water. This represents the breakdown of rigid structures and integration of new information or perspectives. In inner alchemy, dissolution is the process of letting go of old, ingrained patterns of thought and behavior that no longer serve us. It's about becoming fluid, adaptable, and open to new ways of being. This might involve surrendering to the flow of life rather than rigidly resisting it. With practices such as meditation, mindfulness, and deep emotional processing can facilitate this dissolution. It is the willingness to meld our fixed identities and allow them to be reshaped. When we become too rigid in our beliefs or behaviors, we become brittle, prone to breaking under pressure. Dissolution allows us to become more resilient, like water that can flow around obstacles or fill any vessel it is poured into. This stage involves a surrender, a yielding that can feel counterintuitive to the drive for control that often characterizes our attempts at self-improvement. However, true transformation often requires releasing our grip on what we thought we knew and were, to allow for the emergence of something new. It's about loosening the hold of the past and the predetermined and becoming receptive to the present moment's potential. This is where the insights gained during calcination are allowed to permeate and soften the hardened aspects of our psyche. Without this fluid state, the insights from calcination will remain intellectual abstractions rather than deeply integrated experiential shifts. The The feeling of being unstuck often arises during this phase, as the previously rigid boundaries of the self begin to soften and merge. Separation. Once dissolved, the alchemist separates the desired essence from the impurities. This stage is about discerning what is essential from what is extraneous. In our inner transformation, this involves clearly distinguishing between our true selves and the conditioned aspects, between our authentic desires and the expectations imposed by others, or between our intuitive wisdom and the noise of the ego. Practices like critical thinking, value clarification, and discerning intuition development are key here. It's about identifying and discarding the dross that obscures our true nature. This requires a keen sense of discernment, the ability to see through illusions and to recognize the fundamental truth of our being. It's the process of sifting and refining, ensuring that we are building our sovereign will on the solid ground of our deepest truth, not on the shifting sands of external validation or societal norms. This is where the hard work of distinguishing between the signal and the noise truly begins. It's about developing the capacity to recognize the authentic voice of our higher self amidst the cacophony of external influences and internal chatter.